Okay, let's talk about it. When a client asks for raw images and what should you do? Okay, so being in the business for 12 years has taught me that if a client is going to ask about raw images, one, prevent that conversation by having it written down in the contract what exactly is given. If you need help with your contracts, I have a whole nother blog about that, but I use Jotform for all of my contract, my proposals, and all of my wording, and so they know exactly what they've signed up for. So there you go. In the pre-consult, you should also talk about that as well, that you're going to be giving edited images and what's included in the contract. Okay, so let's say that they still ask for raw images. What I say and how I approach it is, look, all of these raw files have been processed through a program that's expensive called Photoshop or Lightroom, and I spent hours going through each and every photo with my eye. So if, hypothetically, you had 6-7 hours to process these images, plus knowledge, time, the ability to learn, knock yourself out, basically, but say it in a nicer way. And so usually that discourages them and say like, oh, well, I don't have the program to actually process them or the knowledge or whatever. And so that's a way that you can approach it, but do it in a nice way, obviously. Or you can just say, look, this is my art, my creative art. If you want me to re-edit them, you will have to pay for my re-editing. If you want them to be professionally retouched, I can recommend these professional retouchers. I usually don't have retouching done in my package, and people can just pay extra for that, but that usually doesn't come up. So if you have it stated in your contract, no raws, and if you've discussed it in your pre-consult, and then you still are getting a question, I would just approach it like, hey, this is my art. I've spent hours and hours, thousands of hours learning these programs to process them. If you didn't, basically, like, you didn't like my work from the beginning, why didn't you hire me? So there's all of these things you have to think about. That's why the pre-consult is so important, because they get to know your style, they get to know who you are, they've looked through all of your images. So maybe before you book someone, you think through like, have they seen a good sample of my work? Maybe I can send them a PDF of, this season's backdrop styles, layouts, whatever, and so they know exactly what they're going to be getting, how many images, what's included in the cost, all this stuff, so that no questions, okay? There will be no questions after the session. It's just like, thank you so much, had a great time, boom. And so that's why that pre-session consult and that prepping your client and doing a phone chat and getting to know and having that trust level with them is so important. Okay, so there you go. That is my answer in a nutshell. When somebody asks me, hey, can I have the raws? And that's kind of like what my response would be. All right, peace out, guys.